Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me in the Xfinity studio today, it is Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. We got him 2 days in a row, fam. He can't get away. We have captured him. What's going on
I
today,
actually
Chuck?
am not allowed to leave the studio. I live here now.
I have chained him to the radiator. He has just enough slack to get to the bathroom. That's it. All right. Lots of stuff to get to today, sort of. I really need the season to start, Charlie.
Well, you're gonna be on vacation next week, so I'm the one that's gonna be holding down the fort next week.
I am now dumping this on you.
Yep.
You know what?
Hey, I dumped it on you for 2 weeks, so it's only fair.
So, but we do have a couple of things to tell you about before we get started today. Of course, first and foremost, hit the freaking like button.
Hit the like button.
We need you to hit the like button.
Yeah.
Charlie's back. We need to get these likes back on track. And
Get back to that 200 level.
Yeah, get back to the 200 a day during the live portion of the show, because what else are you doing? You're sitting here watching it. It takes zero effort to just click the like button.
He makes a good point.
Give us that thumbs up. It costs nothing. All right. Schedule change coming up on Tuesday, September 2nd, the day after Labor Day. We have a show that will be moved to 4 p.m. I didn't know where that sentence was going. We are moving the show to 4 p.m. We have our season schedule. Non-game days will be at 4 for the normal show. All great things must come to an end. Our summer schedule, the day after Labor Day, goes from noon to 4. So easiest way to remember, don't remember. Just hit follow right here and set that reminder bell so you get notifications whenever we go live.
And also, we've done this before.
Yeah, it's happened.
Last summer, we switched it to earlier and then switched back to 4 p.m. for the season. And again, it makes sense. Practices are earlier. It just makes sense to have the show later during the season so that I can be on as many shows as possible.
And who doesn't want that? Finally, road trip. We are going out to California, Philly Sports Trips and PHLY road trip out west. We are going to see the Ducks in Anaheim. We are going to see the Kings in LA, and we are going to get to hang out with John LeClaire. I don't know what else you want. Go to allphly.com right now. Put your deposit down. I realize it's a long way away. It's March 17th to the 22nd when the Flyers are out west, but these are going to sell out, and you're going to want to maybe pay in installments, and you don't want to get to January and be like, oh, man, I can't go. What? Yeah. This sucks. No, it's going to be awesome. It's a 5-day trip, stay at a hotel, airfare, game tickets, watch party for the San Jose game, because that's not part of the trip. Hey, if you want to go yourself, no one's stopping you.
But apparently, it's going to be on the beach, right?
I think so.
We're having like a beach watch party, basically.
That would be sick.
That's going to be really cool.
I really want to do that.
Yeah.
That sounds like better than going to San Jose for a game.
San Jose is nice, but I would rather be on a beach.
I think so.
Yeah.
Allphly.com. Click the events tab. Get in on this now. It's not going to last. Get yourself an early Christmas present. Get something for the Flyers fan in your life. Or just, listen, you deserve a trip. Don't we all? Don't we all deserve a trip? Allphly.com.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Don't cheat yourself.
Exactly.
As a scalper once told me outside of a Flyers playoff game. I had zero.
Did it convince you?
No, I had zero. I couldn't explain to him how little money I had.
Okay.
I was like, I would love to go to this game. I am tailgating with my friends. It was me and Frankie, and we had a Flyers ticket package that year, and I just couldn't afford the playoff tickets, so him and his brother went, and it turned out to be the game.
Oh, well, there were good moments in that game.
Yeah.
Didn't end well.
I am glad I didn't spend a bunch of money I didn't have to be that mad.
Yeah, that's fair. Very fair.
I'm happy about that. All right. Dropped today, Charlie, as we get into the actual conversation of today's show. Dropped today was the Flyers Daily with Jason Martinez featuring Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor.
Yeah.
And
I gather a lot of people have already listened. It's a good listen.
It is.
You know, Jason's been on the show a bunch of times. Major friend of the pod, Jason Martinez. Seems like he's in his down period now before he finds out whether he's going to have another surgery. But seems like things are going well for him. He's feeling better. I'm looking forward to seeing him at the rookie games next month. But look, Jason's come on the show a bunch of times. If Jason asked either of us want to come on the show, we're going to jump at the chance. He's a great guy.
We love Jason, and it's crazy how he's kept working this whole time, and he sounded great.
He did.
That dude's voice it's one of those. I listen to his show and I feel bad about myself before today's show starts. Man, I wish I had a voice like Jason's, but
he has a good voice for radio, to be sure.
He certainly does. I listened to most of your on the drive in today, your segment on his show. It really wasn't a segment. You were there like over an hour, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like a 45-minute show.
It was really good. Couple of points you touched on that I think we've like.
So the theme of this segment is Bill listened to it and wished he was part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So now he's going to inject himself into the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, there's just like a couple of things I thought that were like important to touch on that like you brought up or Jason brought up that I found really interesting. And the one was the organizational honesty. And Danny Briere, like you let it off with, the offseason Danny had. Now, a lot of us, maybe it was just wishful thinking or, content creators, like, they're going to do crazy stuff because I want them to. That's how I felt. But it was like Danny basically told us exactly what was going to happen. Yeah, man, we're going to get more center depth. We're going to add around the margins. We're going to shore up the goalie position a little bit.
We're going to trade some picks.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go jump into the deep end of the free agency pool. We're going to spend, but we're not going to spend like crazy.
Short-term contracts as they spent a little money, but it was all 1-2 year deals. They trade up in the first round. They didn't do anything It was exactly what he said he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it just keeps leading to my, like, we talked yesterday about the those poll results and the confidence in the front office. We're not at NNA because like they got to make the playoffs, once or twice before we're thinking about A's and B's here.
Yeah.
But like, I just feel as if I'm not going to get BS'd about things like this. Like they are actually, when they tell you where they think the organization is, that's what they think. And it reminds me of a couple of years ago when the Cutter Gauthier stuff happened. Now we both agree they did a great PR job.
Oh, yeah.
1, keeping it secret until it happened, and 2, getting their message out immediately.
Yep.
But I tend to believe their side of the story a little bit more, maybe more now than I did back then, simply because they haven't truly BS'd us since. And I think of, it's a retool, Charlie. No, it isn't. No, I'm sorry.
Chuck, it's not.
What tools? What tools got redone? Like, where are these? It was just like, you're lying right now.
You mean you weren't happy with a brand spanking new Tony D'Angelo and Nicholas Deslauriers?
Yeah, like Deslauriers, oh, cool. So we're going to punch more people. We're going to lose more games, but I guess someone's going to get beaten up along the way.
Yeah.
Great. But like, because that, like, we just haven't had that sort of like, the look on your face tells me you don't believe what you're saying right now, sort of moment.
Yeah.
I am more confident in Briere because I know at least I feel as if he's on the page he's telling you.
And I do think as well, because look, I think Danny Briere is a genuinely good dude. I think that he is a guy who is generally forthright and doesn't want to BS people. But I also think that he is benefiting from having Keith Jones next to him, continuing to emphasize to him how important it is to present things in this way for this market. Like, it would not shock me at all if before he goes up in front of the media for like a big presser, that him and Jonesy talk a little bit. It's like, okay, how do we want to present this so that this is presented in the right way for Philly fans? I suspect that Jonesy is helping this a lot in terms of the communication, not only with what Jonesy says, but with what Briere says in terms of refining the message before the fans hear it.
And like at this point where they are right now, that couldn't be more important. Guess what? When they're great, if they go to a conference final every other year for 5 years, I don't care.
Yeah.
Howie Roseman can slap me in the face. I'd be like, what's up, man? Like, fine. You don't have to tell me the truth about anything. You could be outright hostile towards me, and I'd say fine.
Yeah,
but right now,
exactly. Yeah.
Right now, the Flyers don't have that sort of like institutional trust.
You're 100% right. Like if Howie Roseman were to say on March 1st that
it's July,
we are 100% keeping our first round pick. We would never trade it. We're keeping it. And then on draft day, he trades it. Everybody's going to be like, well, I'm sure it was a good trade. It's Howie.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's like they don't like the trust is building, but they know they're not there yet because there's been no success. And I do appreciate it, and it creates more benefit of the doubt for me. Like maybe I believe the Gauthier stuff. Maybe I didn't back then. I thought it was a good marketing job.
Yeah.
Now I believe it more than I did whatever it was a year and a half ago, because I've had no reason to be like, about them since.
And also nothing's come out about the Gauthier thing to make it seem like they presented it falsely.
It's just one guy going, if you actually knew.
If only you knew.
Well, if only someone could tell us, guy with microphone and face who lived through it. Like, I wonder how we could straighten out this story. And then he refuses time and time again. Well, I am more inclined to say that they're probably at least telling most of the truth.
If you don't put your narrative out there, the other narrative is going to take hold, and that's exactly what happened.
So, and I just think this organizational honesty, it's giving me more confidence in what they're doing, because I feel as if their plan is actually their plan. And that was always the issue with, I guess, a little bit of Hextall, but he just didn't say anything ever. Yeah. And then Chuck, where it's like, you're not good, right? Like, this team is bad, and you think like you can't possibly think this, and they're kind of walking both sides of it, and that leads to where we are now.
What was the one thing where he said that they're only like 5 points out of a playoff spot or something, and we knew that the team was bad?
Remember, they were the most improved team.
Most improved team.
And it was like, you still missed the playoffs. You were just way worse late. Like, you won more games. You lost more games in overtime this year than you did last year.
The power plays made big improvements.
Yes.
Still the worst.
Exactly. We don't get that now, and that just... All right, so they're not imbeciles, or at least they don't think I'm an imbecile.
Yes.
Like, that's the other part.
I think that was a big part of it, was that,
like idiots.
A lot of fans, and I think they were right to feel this way, a lot of fans felt like it wasn't just they were being lied to. It was that they felt like the organization was treating them as if they were dumb.
Oh, they'll buy this.
Exactly.
Like, I understand a lot of times a team has to, like, say what they have to say, because how many times do we say when we read a quote, like, what the hell else are they going to say?
Exactly.
Don't, like, to some certain point, you just got to be like, these are not toddlers.
Yeah,
like,
they know.
When we play peekaboo, I don't think you disappeared. I just don't treat me like I'm a total moron.
Exactly.
At least believe I have, like, baseline intelligence, and I do think they treat us a little bit more like that now as a fan base. A couple other things. Jett Luchanko in the bottom six. That was an interesting conversation.
Yeah,
because I've been saying I'm comfortable with it, but I get no say. Like, I don't, since Bill wants him to play on the fourth line, I think we'll do it. It seems like maybe that's a real thing.
I think it maybe would be less of a thing if he was going back to London. If he was going back to a team where you're like, oh, he's going to get support, he's going to be able to really dive into the offensive side of his game. But they know that he's going back to Guelph, where he's not going to have much help again. And they're kind of looking at it as, well, if he's physically ready and he can hold his own and he shows he can at least score a bit in the NHL, why not let him develop on the fly at the NHL level if he's not going to get killed? Now, if he's just overmatched, that's one thing. Then send him back to juniors, no problem. Let him play in the World Junior Championships. Sure, it's not going to hurt him necessarily. It's just that they're probably, if he shows that he can physically handle it and he can at least produce a bit offensively and can chip in here and there and play, get some power play time, play on the penalty kill, take 12, 13, 14 minutes a night at 5-on-5, they're looking at it as, why not let him develop here? Because it's not like he's going back to an incredible developmental situation in Guelph anyway.
And like, even if he could just play in the AHL.
That would be the best thing for everyone. Like, unfortunately, they're not allowed.
If he could just go be the 1C of the Phantoms,
that would be great.
See how that goes for half a season, and then we reassess. But since I wondered. So this is outside of that conversation, but it got my mind turning a little. Luchanko, let's say they could try to find some sort of loophole, like he makes the team, then gets hurt in the ramp up for the season, and now suddenly he's got to go on a rehab assignment. I was like trying to think of ways to get him into the AHL that are like out sort of a loophole or sort of a workaround. Like we were talking about with Martone. Right. And again, like they were just like, yeah, we're not doing any of that. Yeah. I don't think we can.
I don't think we're allowed, and we're not going to go down that path.
You know what? I don't feel like making that phone call. Yeah. And that's totally acceptable.
Yeah.
how I live a lot of my life. I'm not doing that. But like Jett Luchanko, like, yeah, he plays in the preseason and he looks decent, but it's, we really would love to get him some AHL time. Like, oh, he tweaked something. Well, now we got to get him some AHL games. I wonder if they could do something like that.
I don't think so.
I don't think.
I mean, a rehab assignment, I assume, wouldn't be out of the question, but there's only so long those rehab assignments can last. There are rules against it being a rehab assignment for a month.
Yeah, you can't keep him down there for 12 games or something. Like that's. I
respect your ingenuity.
Yeah.
You're trying to be creative here. I respect it. I'm just saying, like, it ain't gonna happen.
All right. So I can't remember where I read this, so I don't want to say an author and then be like it wasn't him. But I read something this morning. It was like if Jett Luchanko doesn't make the team, at least for the tryout that he got last year, it's objectively a step backwards. Do you believe that to be true?
It's an interesting point. I'm on the fence because on one hand, objectively it is. Last season, he made the team. This year, he didn't. Objectively, it is a step back in that he didn't do what he did the previous year. To me, the mitigating factor for me to say that it would be like a disappointment is that it's so abundantly clear that last year, the driving force behind it was John Tortorella. And John Tortorella is no longer here. So it's a different set of circumstances because Rick Tocchet presumably is going to be more on the same page as Danny and Jonesy and even Dan Hilferty, whereas Torts was kind of a loose cannon, doing whatever he wanted. And Danny and Jonesy sometimes were probably like, we disagree with you, but like we really just don't feel like yelling at you for 2 hours. So sure, get the kid for 10 games.
That was like, that's my thing is the center position. While it really hasn't changed a ton, it has changed enough. Like one, just in the, longest tenured, highest paid center's relationship with the coach.
It's a fair point.
I don't think he hates him. At least, I don't think he's like, well, he's old and slow. I don't like him.
And there's more certainty about Couturier.
Yeah.
Because he finished this season strong.
Looked like an NHL player in the second half of
going into last season, he finished the season terribly, and it was like, ooh, can he even play?
Remember, it was Cates getting sat for Luchanko last season. Yeah. And then once Cates came back in the lineup, he has solidified himself now as a center option.
Going into last season, he wasn't even a center.
He's an NHL player.
Yeah.
We know Cates can be a second or third line center for this team.
Yeah. At least a 3-6.
They bring in Dvorak, who can play center. They want to give Zegras some time at center.
Yeah.
Well, I just named 4 guys.
That's true. You make a really good point.
Like the center position is just different now.
It's not like the center position has been solved.
Yes.
But it is deeper than it was this time last year.
And it's not just the coach being like, well, I want him, so I'm going to get him. Like, well, you can't. No, I can. like, really? He turned 18 a week ago. Yeah, don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it was so, I don't. Like, I guess, yes, if you just want to go with the strict, yeah, man, he made the team last year. But so much has changed, both in the position, the coaching. Like, I don't know if it's, like, I'll be disappointed because I want Luchanko on the team because it's interesting. I want to see what happens with him in the NHL. But I don't know, he didn't make it. I think less of him as a prospect now. I am going to think, unless he sucks in the preseason,
if he's really bad.
Like, if he's really bad, like he gets blown up a couple of times and like it can't complete the passes and he wins 9 faceoffs out of 100, like then yes, I will be worried.
Right.
But other than that, I am going to think the exact same thing about Jett Luchanko's ceiling, whether he makes the team or gets sent back to Guelph.
I think that's fair. And I want to reiterate, I feel like I talked to Jason about this on the show. I don't exactly remember what the Luchanko conversation, what directions it went in. But I want to make it clear that, like, based on the conversations I've had, both on and off the record with people in the organization, I think that some fans are underrating the possibility that Luchanko makes his team out of camp. Like, I got the sense a few months ago that people were like, well, Luchanko's probably going to go back to juniors, and it could happen. But I think they're going into this thinking that there's a darn good chance he's at the very least here for another 9-game trial.
That was something you mentioned on the show that I was actually like, oh.
They could do that.
I hadn't actually considered the idea of, like, could send him back.
Yeah, they could just do it again.
They could do it again.
Yeah.
Like, there's no rule against that. He's not, he turned 19 yesterday.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Very much on the table.
I mean, they even could, and granted, it's not the ideal situation, but they even could keep him beyond the 9 games and then still send him back to juniors like they did with Lucas. Yeah, like they did with Lucas Pisa. Like it would burn the year and that'd be a disappointment. But if you, let's say he starts out on fire, scores 5 goals in his first 9 games, and you're like, well, we got to keep the guy. Like he's one of our best offensive players. I guess we keep him. And then by the time it gets to mid-December, he's like exhausted. He's just not, he's not getting games. He's getting scratched. They could send him back still. Now, again, not ideal. You burn the year, but you send him back. Then maybe he can play in the World Juniors or something like that. So there are other options. Now, ideally, if he makes the team, he stays all year. I think that would be the expectation. But it's not like they're locked into having him on the team the entire year. Like, well, we got to keep him. They could still send him back.
Yeah, I was trying to. Oh, so, and it's funny because he also played for Guelph, but Boston didn't send the guy, I can't pronounce his name, Matty Patras.
Yeah.
Poitras, Patra, I don't know. They didn't send him back because he started out really hot and then it like just totally went away. He only ended up playing 33 NHL games for them that year, but they did let him go play in World Juniors.
Yeah, that's always an option too. You can let, like, the NHL teams can say like, well, he's not really getting that many minutes here. Let's have him go dominate World Juniors for 2.5 weeks.
All right. Yeah, let's throw it to our first commercial break, Julia. I'm sorry about that abrupt. Gotta tell you about our friends at Xfinity. Of course, we are broadcasting live from the Xfinity studio where the Wi-Fi is booming. And guess what? Not only do you get a great, strong, reliable connection from Xfinity, you can now get a great and reliable price thanks to the 5-year price guarantee. Because life's unpredictable, but the price of your internet shouldn't be. You have to get a reliable price for a reliable connection. And with Xfinity, you get exactly that. And with them, all in means all in. Not only do you get your price guarantee for 5 years, but your Wi-Fi equipment and unlimited data is included. You get one internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Change is always happening. Rules are rewritten, records are broken, athletes come and go, but no matter what changes in 5 years, the price of your internet will stay the same. To learn more, just go to Xfinity.com. Restrictions apply, new residential customers only, taxes and fees extra, and are subject to change. While we're here, got to tell you about that Ford Explorer. I just think it's one of the coolest cars ever, man. And it is America's all-time best-selling SUV. It's got a legacy of family trust and performance, and now it offers 3-row seating for up to 7 passengers, which is great for families and road trips. I've driven across this country many times. You want that 3rd row. You are really going to need that extra space. It's available in rear-wheel drive or intelligent 4-wheel drive for better traction and control. And it comes with a choice of 3 powertrains, including a hybrid for better fuel economy. You get the available Sync 4 infotainment system with a large touchscreen and voice command. The terrain management system lets you select drive modes like snow, sand, and tow. 87.8 cubic feet of cargo space with the rear seats folded down. Just so many great options with the Ford Explorer, including standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto across all the trims. It's built for families, but ready for adventure. It's a true do-it-all SUV. For more information, visit your local Ford store. All right, the last thing is Owen Tippett, simply because you made a good joke.
Oh, about him not tipping.
And
anything?
I do think him in a net front is one of those spots where he could use his hands and size to maybe just pot a few cheap ones.
Yeah.
Where it's not, oh yeah, you created a 2-on-1 by yourself with your legs and ripped the shot and scored. Where he could actually start to add to that goal total by being a little bit more versatile and contributing when they are trying to be more of a possession team.
Yeah, I just think that, and look, he's never going to be a John LeClaire, Wayne Simmons type net front dude. I just want him to use the dirty areas a little bit more. And you do see it sometimes. You see him take the puck to the net sometimes. Yeah. I would like to see him do it more, but he does do it occasionally. I would just like to see him maybe around the net when he doesn't have the puck more, because maybe that helps create space for his line mates. Maybe that makes him more effective on the cycle, and maybe that allows him to get some cheap goals here and there.
As I heard Jason a few shows ago, they were talking about, like, I think it was when he had Meltzer on every Monday. They have Bill Meltzer, and they were like, okay, there's always one player who just kind of has the scorn of like social media and like the Flyers media and whatnot. And the conversation was literally, how can Owen Tippett not be that guy?
What does he have to do?
And I really thought when you started talking about it, that was going to come up and you were just going to like, Bill's already started. This is why I needed 9 days off because Bill's already begun this campaign against Owen Tippett. But I am like, it's because I see the potential.
Yeah,
that's what.
fair.
If I just thought he stunk, I'd be like, whatever. He's not very good.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, we'll get someone else. But it's because I think he can be really good.
And you see it. He has
all
3, 4, 5 games a year where he looks like he could be one of the best players in the NHL.
If you were to watch like the extended highlights of the Flyers since he joined the team, he is in a lot of them.
Yeah,
like he has some really, really fun stuff. And he's got a bag of tricks. And it's just like more than once a week, man. More than twice a month. Like be more consistent. I think he can get there. But yeah, so that was the stuff.
Is he like the Nick Castellanos of the Flyers? Where it's like when he's good, he's really good.
You know, and
then he disappears.
He does seem cool.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, I wish you were 20% better so that I could absolutely love you. Yeah, I think that's a decent comparison. That's not bad. All right, so those were my takeaways from your appearance on Flyers Daily. Just check out the whole show.
Yeah,
it was good. And honestly, like you want Flyers content. There's not much out there. It's basically, that's it. So
there's not a lot.
Listen to Jason's show too. It's really good. All right, those are my takeaways from that. But now it's time for the big takeaway brought to you by Xfinity. The Wi-Fi is booming, and Charlie, it feels like it's so fun to say.
I love it.
It feels like we've all zeroed in. My takeaway from like doing research for the last couple of shows, my takeaway is we've all zeroed in on the exact points and question marks that we're going to be focusing on with this Flyers team. It feels as if the media and fans are like 2 months out from the regular season puck drop. It's like, all right, can we just get there? Because I know there's going to be some camp battles and some interesting stuff, but we are all basically on the same page. I don't know. Maybe it's because my memory doesn't work. Like maybe this happens every year. Like, okay, it's August. We all know what we're looking for. But it just kind of seems like we've landed on all of the exact same, yeah, man, this is what's going to make or break this season. And that shows up in the 5 keys for this coming season. I read in the Inquirer today, it was Gustav Elvins.
Yeah, he's the editor there.
Yes.
So Jackie's probably on vacation. So and Gustav knows his stuff.
Yeah, and he must, because it's exactly what we've been talking about. It's 5 takeaways, and it's the 5 keys, and it's very simple. 1, stop the puck.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That would help.
Honestly, we could just end there. Like that is so much of what is going to be the conversation this year. Are way more pucks going in the net than should be, as has been the case for the last season and a half, or will they get some sort of consistency?
Yeah, and you would think it's going to be better because at the very least, Dan Vladar is an NHL caliber goalie. Now, how good he's going to be, we'll see. We'll see if they can improve him. We'll see if he can take a bigger share of the workload than he got in Calgary. We'll see. But I think I can confidently state he is NHL caliber. Whereas I don't think you could confidently say that about Ivan Fedotov, and certainly not about Alexei Kolosov last year.
No, and we're going to get into some goalie stuff in a little bit. We had some mailbag questions from earlier in the week that I wanted to also pose to Charlie, because I think he'll be able to give some unique answers, and honestly, a couple of them are funny. But the goalie thing is just, that is it. Yeah, we need the power play to be better. We need so many little things.
I think we need the power play to be better just for our sanity. Just for the collective sanity of the fan base.
People at Pico.
That's
for those, that can't be good for their branding.
No.
Like, oh, it's the Pico power play. It's like
a running joke.
Well, it's a power outage. Yeah. This can't be good for Pico's branding. Yeah. Like, just for the poor people at Pico to have to go to work every day with their heads held high. But like, stop the puck. That's number 1 and number 2 and probably number 3.
Probably.
But number 2 on this list in the Inquirer was, will the real Trevor Zegras stand up? And it is, we're going to find out. We are going to find out about Zegras, but it seems like your confidence is giving me confidence, Charlie, or at least
I feel good about Zegras. I do.
the things that you have relayed to me, and you said them to Jason on today's show, you said them to me yesterday, like, he seems to understand the assignment.
Yeah.
He gets that this is kind of not make or break.
Like he's gonna be in the NHL.
He's gonna be an NHLer.
Yeah.
He's a good hockey player. Are you gonna be
A great
the
hockey
guy everyone thought you were gonna be 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
And that's where we are with him now, and he has to prove it. And it feels like he understands the assignment.
Yeah, it's like if he has a big year this year, the narrative becomes very easy. It's like, oh, Anaheim screwed him up. He's real good. He was real good to start his career. They turned him into a winger. He had a bad coach, and now he's out of there, and he's great again. Awesome. Whereas if he has a meh year in a new location, then it becomes, okay, maybe he's just a meh player.
Yeah. And he's in a contract year. He looked like going to become the face of the league. He has all the incentive in the world to put the work in and do his best to become what we all thought he was going to be when he was on the cover of video games and in the skills competition and, shouting out, faking the Michigan and throwing passes lacrosse style. Like, he's got it. It's just, I am starting to feel very optimistic about Zegras simply because all reports are it's going that way. But that is the key of maybe the second biggest, because I think Mishkov in my head now is a given that he's at least going to be as good as last year, and there's no reason he's not better. Yeah. Like that to me it's a question. We need him to get to superstar level because they have to have a superstar, and he's their best chance at one.
It would be great if that happened this year, but it doesn't have to happen.
It doesn't have to happen, and I very much just believe that the trajectory at least will continue, if not 90+ points, but at least something.
That'd be cool if he got 90+ points. Though.
That would be dope. Number 3, powering up the power play.
And Yogi, we trust.
Dear Lord, just again, please.
Yogi, please be good at your job, please.
What do you think? Is it just Mishkov breaking out? Is it Zegras being here? Like, what is just better coaching to fit the personnel? What do you think is the number one thing that can get the power play to not a laughingstock? Like, they get a power play and it's like, can we decline?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it is going to be the coaching. Like, that is what we're hoping is the big improvement, is that now they have good direction, or at least not bad direction, and they're going to get better. But I do think the Zegras-Mishkov chemistry is probably the quickest way for the power play to go from horrific to passable, because if they connect early, and it's like, oh man, they think the same way on the power play, they know where each other are, that then creates it creates a core of a power play unit that then you can find other pieces to build around them. The big thing with the power play, really since Claude Giroux left, but you even saw it going away the final couple years of Giroux's time here, it didn't have an identity. There was nothing like when the power play was great in the mid 2010s, even into the late 2010s with Giroux. It was like you knew what they were going to do. Giroux was going to be on that one side. Simmons was going to be at net front. Ghost was going to be bombing shots. You're going to have the one-timer option in the slot, and then you're going to have Giroux and Voracek throwing passes back and forth. Like they knew every time they went on the ice what they were going to do. Now, maybe sometimes they didn't work, but they knew what they were going to do.
Yes.
I watched the power play the last couple of years. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have a plan. It's like, well, hopefully this works. Hopefully the thing that we were talking about in pregame discussions, hopefully that works. But we don't have any confidence that it will. It's like maybe it will. I want them to start having things they do and having the players know what they do, what their role is. And the easiest way to get a start to that is, okay, Zegras has the puck, he gets it to Mishkov. That would be, if that works, at least you have something to start building upon.
It was just such I think that idea of they're going to do certain things, because we've talked about it for years. Like, you knew what they were going to do. And Ovechkin, it's tough to, he's the greatest goal scorer ever, but you knew what the point of their whole puck movement was, to eventually get him a one-timer so he can blow it through the goalie. And no matter how many times they did it, teams couldn't stop it. Like, I just think of cross ice passes, Giroux and Voracek.
Yeah.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't matter who the bumper man was. That guy had a career high in goals every time. It was Braden Shen, it was Sean Couturier, Scott Hartnell. No matter who it was, it worked. Net front man for the most part, like you said. You had that zigzag play where it's Giroux cross to Jake and then down low on the far post for a slam dunk for Simmons. Like, they just had stuff they did that you knew you could. All right, let's try to get that one. I think they're shading a little. So we're going to be able to get Simmons free on the backside. We just got to make that first pass and it'll be there. It doesn't seem like there's a plan.
No,
and I just need there to be a freaking plan, man. And it opens up like, okay, Jamie Drysdale, we don't know if he's that point guy, but you know what would make it a lot easier to figure out? If they weren't able to just stand on top of him, because the man at the top of the diamond is like, ooh, I got to shade over to Misha a little. I got to take away the Zegras-Mishkov thing. And now suddenly Drysdale has all the time in the world at the top. Like, that helped Ghost.
Yeah, sure did.
So I just like having that sort of just a little bit of something that you can rely on will help enormously. And also, how could it get worse, Charlie? How could it get worse?
You know, I'd like to believe that it can't.
Flips on the news,
but you never know. You never know. It could always get worse.
Number 4, just improve vibes. And I do think
that's basically the John Tortorella is gone.
This is a great way of saying, again, maybe Rick Tocchet is demanding, but in terms of relationships, again, it ain't gonna get worse. Like, Tortorella, it really does feel like they kept him, and it's crazy because it was only a 3rd season, but things were way worse after year 2 than I think maybe the front office wanted to acknowledge. Maybe they knew and were just like, yeah, but like we're still paying AV. Maybe that was part of it, but it seems as if things were just worse under Tortorella than I realized. And now it's, well, anything's an improvement. And actually, people love Rick Tocchet.
Yeah. Well, that was what Danny Briere straight up said it. It's very funny when Briere said that. I believe it was in the exit interview in April. And it might have been my question of basically, or maybe it was Jackie. Somebody asked the question essentially like, you know, a lot of times after you have kind of a taskmaster coach, you go the other way. You go with a player's coach. And then if you have a player's coach and that doesn't work, then you go with the, with the tough guy, with the guy who's hard on the players. And Danny just like, he was trying to stifle a chuckle, and he's just like, well, I think anybody after Torts is going to feel like a player's coach.
And literally everybody but Greg Cronin is a player's coach compared
to that guy,
compared to John Tortorella.
Like, they all know.
It really, like, we made the joke. It seemed like Danny was fine with it until it became his problem. And it was like, you know what, this guy's bothering me now. I'm technically his boss, and he's yelling at me. Like, no, you're fired. Like,
I personally can't. I was cool letting you guys deal with it, but now I got to deal with it.
Listen, that was my thing with Tortorella when they hired him. I was like, well, good. Because I hate them, and I want them to suffer. Like, let John Tortorella torture them for a couple of years, and that seems to be like what happened. So the vibes, like, I just feel like are going to be better because they certainly seemed like it in the last whatever it was 9, 10, whatever games.
Definitely were better, to be sure.
Like, the vibes were better.
Couldn't have gotten much worse.
And now
by the end of the tour.
Like, all right, York has his deal, and his friend is here, and like we have a new coach who's not a huge jerk. Like, the vibes have to be better, right? There's no way they're not.
The coach will have a relationship with the captain.
Yeah, he doesn't like openly dislike him, you know, like gives him the C and like is like, well, you know, Laughton's the leader, but we're gonna give you the C anyway.
Because I was told by my boss I had to do it.
Like, we have to do this because, you know, we want to make sure Charlie and Bill get a call on Valentine's night about doing an emergency show about a captain.
I forgot about that. That was Valentine's Day night.
We were just like, no.
I literally,
8 o'clock on Valentine's Day. We're not doing that.
I told our boss, I said, it's Valentine's Day night. I'm pretty sure my relationship will end if I have to bail on dinner to do an emergency pod on Sean Couturier getting the C.
Not the afternoon. It was like 8 o'clock at night. And it was like, I was like, no, this isn't that big of a deal. They sewed a letter onto a jersey. All right. And number 5, I am just happy they included this for you, Charlie. Revitalizing the redheads.
Ooh.
And it's I mean, the 2 guys who are kind of going to be the lightning rods, I think, are York and
Tippett. Yeah, it's fair.
And wiping the slate clean with York.
Okay. Not quite there with Tippett.
I don't think I can do it with Tippett yet. He needs
Tippett's got to do something on the ice.
He scores 2 on opening night.
We're back.
We're good.
Right.
But I just need to, I don't need to get back into. But yes, that is, in terms of if we're going to expand this list from like the 3 we talked about yesterday to the 5 now, I would say York and Tippett being guys worthy of deals that keep them here for a little while.
Yeah.
Is a big part of this season.
I think that's fair. Yeah, they both are guys that have a lot to prove. York, you are hoping no longer is stifled by the fact that he didn't have a great relationship with the coach. You're hoping he has a much better relationship with Rick Tocchet than he had with John Tortorella, because as everyone knows, that was a problem. Wasn't great. And then with Tippett, everybody sees the talent. You just got to tap into it, man.
Yeah, and it's very like the talent is obvious. That's what frustrates me.
Yeah.
All right. We have some mailbag questions. I want to get Charlie's answers to. But first, let us just throw it to our next commercial break. Gotta lead it off telling you about our friends at Monarch Money. And I know I call like all of our sponsors our friends, but Monarch Money is actually working with me, for me, to help me become a lot more financially responsible. I've learned so much through Monarch Money, just about how much I wasn't saving. And it turned out I was saving way less than I thought. And just not managing my money quite as well as I thought I was, even after, I joke around and tell you, pretty financially irresponsible, but I thought I've been getting better over the years. Turns out I still had quite a bit of a way to go, and that's where Monarch Money has been helping so much, and it's just one of the great financial tools out there. It's built for people with busy lives. If you're put off by organizing your finances, and trust me, that's absolutely me, Monarch is from you. Monarch does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes, get clear data, visuals, and smart categorization of your spending, and real control over your money. It's once you actually see it all right in front of you, this is where it's going, well, you kind of get a much clearer idea of how you're not maybe doing the best you can. And that's where Monarch really steps up for you. You'll never need to touch a spreadsheet again, and it won't let you leave money on the table. When you're making good money, it's easy to get complacent. You don't need to track every dollar, but ignoring your finances entirely, it can cost you. And Monarch, it isn't just another finance app. It's a tool for real professionals, and they use them every day. Experts actually love this thing. That's why it's been named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. It's been mentioned in Forbes. It's the best app for couples, named in CNBC's top fintech companies in the world. Come on. That's how many other accolades does this thing need? Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarchmoney.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code PHLY. While we're here, I got to tell you about my friends at Shady Rays. I'm talking about being more financially responsible. There's nothing more responsible than going with Shady Rays, because they are durable glasses built to last at a price that won't break the bank. Because you know that moment, the one where you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car, at a gas station 3 states away. I've been there. I've lost like countless pairs of sunglasses in the ocean. Why do I keep wearing them? I don't know. But I keep doing it. And it gets to be a little pricey sometimes, but then I found Shady Rays, and it changed the game, because these sunglasses are made for real life. They're great looking, they're polarized, they're durable, they're not stupid expensive, and the best part, if you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I actually wear my favorite sunglasses without fear. On hikes, you all know I don't go on hikes. Let's just say to the beach. At concerts, on the boat that I want to get someday, wherever. Shady Rays, it's eyewear that has your back. And we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. 35% is a hell of a discount. All right, Charlie, some mailbag questions that I wanted to get into a bit of a conversation with you on here.
Okay.
First one from our friend Kyle of the Dead. Good name. If 2026 is supposed to be the year we start trying to contend, Do you think that's a realistic expectation considering our current goalie situation? Bjarnes and Zavragin are probably 1 to 2 years away, and likely another 2+ years after that before they can actually play well in the NHL. My first thing is, do you think it's possible that they could contend with what they have right now?
Well, they can't contend with what they have right now in terms of the goalies continuing to play the way they've played. They could contend if one or both of these two guys, and when I say these two guys, I mean Ersson and Vladar. I'm assuming Fedotov is going to be in the minors or maybe not on the team. Who knows? We'll see. They need one of those two guys to step up. Now, at the moment, this is not a good enough goaltending tandem to make the playoffs. It's not. But if Dan Vladar becomes the goalie that goalie coaches around the league think he could become, if Sam Ersson taps back into what made him a pretty exciting tandem goalie that first year before the Carter Hart situation happens, then you've got the makings of something. Now, I think it's an interesting point, though, from Kyle, the idea of, okay, if 2026 is the year they're turning the corner, if Ersson and Vladar one of them doesn't take a big step forward, is goalie on the list of things they look to do next summer? And honestly, it could be. It could be.
That was my thing. Like when I answered this question, I can't remember if I did it in the bonus or the regular show, but like I think this is the beginning of a short/long-term plan of, yes, we know Zavragin and Bjarnason, and hopefully one of them is the franchise goalie, whatever.
Right.
But right now it's fact-finding. If we put these two in a role we think they can succeed, will one of them at least grab it, or can it be a tandem that we can go with and, not go into a first-round playoff series like, I hope we lose in 6 and not 4. Like, can it be at least that good? And if it isn't, I do think now I'm like, all right, maybe goalie, at least for a short term, becomes one of those things they have to go out and spend assets on.
Yeah, it could be. I feel like this year, we talked a little bit about over the last couple of years about how these are fact-finding mission years.
Yeah.
These are learning years. You're learning about what you have. I kind of think this year might be the last learning year. And if they, after next year, like, I don't think they're going to go into 2026 and be like, well, we still need to find out more about Sam Ersson. I think after the season, they're going to make a decision on if Sam Ersson is part of this.
That's the whole thing of the players will let us know. Eventually, you have to listen.
Yeah.
Like, they've told you.
Yeah.
And I'm not counting out the fact that I think I do think there is something more in Sam Ersson. I think it's a possibility. Dan Vladar might be at least a decent enough starter if given the opportunity. But you do kind of have to, after this year, reassess the position entirely. That said, I brought up the list of potential free agent goalies next year, and it's really not all that. It's not all that exciting. Philip Gustafsson might be the one I have the most interest in. He's pretty decent.
I would think if they feel like they have to adjust the goalie situation, I would assume they would go the trade route. But you look at it, like Sam Ersson's in the last year of his contract. Now, again, he's an RFA, so it's not like he would have to go. But let's say next season he throws up another $890. They have Vladar under contract for another year, and as long as he's not terrible, I assume they're planning to have him through the length of the contract. But could I see a world where, they trade Sam Ersson for a late round pick just to give him a fresh start somewhere else, and then go and trade for, like, not Thatcher Demko, but like a Thatcher Demko-like guy to pair with Vladar, who they're like, hey, maybe he could be the guy, especially because, as Kyle astutely notes, just because Zavragin has 2 years left on his contract, that doesn't mean he's going to come over and immediately be an NHL caliber starting goalie. It could take some time. He might spend some time in the AHL. He might jump right to the NHL, but be a backup to start. Like, it's not as if he's going to come over and immediately be the solution, most likely. So to have a guy who's under contract for 2-3 years to kind of be another bridge, I don't think that's unreasonable, especially if they are planning to compete in 2026. If they don't think Ersson can be a goalie that helps them compete in 2026, he might be gone.
Yeah, no, it's you're gonna have to make tough decisions even at that position eventually. Like, I know we think we have depth and we'll just wait and see, but if they do want to take steps forward, the goaltending is gonna have to be at least, maybe not solved for the next 10 years, but at least not a huge weakness that brings everything else down.
Yeah.
And that's what it's been for the last couple of years. Yeah, the top 3 free agents by next season in the goaltending market by cap hit. Carey Price, who's not actually an option. He's just listed.
Right.
He's Sergei Bobrovsky, who will be like 40. And Jacob Markstrom, who will be like 37.
I mean, it would be a great storyline to bring back Bob on like a 1-year deal. No. It would be very funny. I would enjoy it.
If it was Bob, like if they could bring Zavragin over, and like you have Bob who can all the pitfalls. Oh, you're a rookie Russian goalie
in Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia, I think I can help. Like that would be cool. But without Zavragin, I don't want Bob. But then it's like Peter Mrazek. We already played that game. Spencer Knight would
not go down that road again.
Spencer Knight would be an RFA. Maybe Philip Gustavs, like Laurent Brassard, Ivan Fedotov, like Freddie Anderson.
Oh yeah,
these guys are all not very good. So it would probably have to be the trade route, unless they were to do something like I don't know, offer sheet Spencer Knight or something like that. Never rule it out.
You never know.
All right. So yeah, that's just this idea of
yeah, and that's a good point. Sorry to jump in, but we have Doug Grinch made a good point. If the goaltending still sucks this year, the goalie coach has to go. I think they made it clear that this is Kim Dillaball's last chance to prove that he should be part of the long-term coaching staff.
Yes, 100%. I mean, they basically said it.
Yeah,
like Danny.
He's going to get a shot. He's going to get a look.
Yeah, Danny. Going to get a look, like without saying. You're either the goalies are good or you're fired. He said it. One more thing on the goalies. Speaking of Zavragin and Bjornis and Charlie, elite prospects. They did that 100 best skaters prospects thing last week, and 4 Flyers on it. Good to see. They did top 20 goalies this week. Zavragin not.
Yeah, mentioned. I was surprised. I expected him to at least make like maybe the 11 to 20 range. I was surprised he didn't make it. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Lists hate us this summer. All lists hate the Flyers.
Zavragin is interesting because, I mean, I can tell you, Flyers are real high on him. The numbers he's put up at such a young age, really impressive in the KHL. I am surprised that more of the public services and the public draft and prospect ranking people aren't higher on him than they clearly are. It's surprising. I don't quite understand it, but hey, we'll see who's right.
All right, this next one is from The Abominable, another great one. Have you had any recurring dreams?
That's a weird question.
Now, the one I gave, I won't tell the other story that it's on the bonus pod. Listen to it. But for decades in my life, Jason Voorhees is in my dreams.
Really?
Like, yes. I'll be like at hockey camp running through the woods or something. And next thing you know, this is no longer a hockey camp dream. This is a Friday the 13th movie.
Okay.
These things, I'll be like in one of my neighbor's houses I grew up in, and now, we're trapped in the house with Jason. These things happen regularly.
And so I'm not a horror movie person. Jason is the one with the hockey mask, right? Yeah. So you think that's part of it?
Could be. Yeah, that's I'd never thought about that before. It's a really good point.
Maybe.
That could be it. Yeah. Well, yeah. The other story.
Just unpacking like deep-seated mental health issues on this show for Bill Matz.
The other story, listen to the bonus pod. I'm not going to say it on the show. But have you had any recurring dreams, Charlie?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't remember my dreams very often. But when I do, there really isn't a recurring theme or character or concept. They're all very different. So I don't think I've ever really had recurring dreams.
All right. And from Crud Muddler, which is my favorite name of all of our regular mailbag contributors.
It's good.
What is the funniest or weirdest interaction you have had with a Flyer, past or present? Petey gave us some, I just kind of opened it up for Petey when I asked him. And he gave some pretty good ones, but he was just like, every single interaction with Briz is weird.
That's
like
fair.
No matter the context, no matter the setting, you could be talking about hockey, you could be talking about life, whatever it is, Briz is freaking weird. And yeah, I can see that. In terms of funny, does anything come close to It's a Retool, Charlie? Because that's my favorite.
I mean, but is that really an interaction? Number one, it wasn't a Flyer; it was the general manager.
Yeah.
Number two, like that was an interview.
Yeah.
When I think of interactions, I'm more thinking about times when I didn't expect to see a player.
Okay.
I don't really have any super funny ones. There was one time, I think this was in 2019, and it was either 2018 or 2019, and it was when I was still writing for The Athletic, and we had a meetup at the you know, the like mall type deal they have at the Navy Yard.
Yeah.
So I'm walking through there to get to where we were meeting, which is like the very, very far end. And Michael Raffel is just sitting at a table by himself. And we just like look at each other and we find like, we're like, is that? And he's like, is that? And then we just like gave each other like the nod of like, oh yeah, okay, cool. There was one time, this isn't funny, this was just kind of neat. There's a really nice steakhouse in Center City that I had never been to, and I took my girlfriend there for Valentine's Day a couple years ago, and I think we went the day before Valentine's Day because we couldn't get it. We couldn't get an actual reservation at this one because it's a small steakhouse. We went on the 13th, and we walk in, and it's pretty small. So like there's a bar at the back, and the bar is stationed right next to like what's clearly the VIP table. It's a big table, and it's like this is where we put like the people who call ahead and they're famous. And we're walking over to the bar, and I just hear, "Hey, Charlie," and I look up, and it's Cam Atkinson and his wife. And then because like my girlfriend is not a big hockey person. Like she knows the team, but like she obviously doesn't know what these guys look like. Like, you know, when they're not wearing helmets and stuff.
I would say Cam Atkinson, unique enough looking that I would recognize him, but a lot of guys I would not.
Yeah. So
you deal with them every day.
So I am like, you know, this is Cam, and then my girlfriend goes, "Oh, do you know him from work?" And I was like,
yes.
You know, kinda. Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah. And then like the next day of practice, like he comes up to me, he's like, "So what'd you get?"
It's good stuff.
So that was
That's
good.
Great. You're not like a big gotcha question guy, and you're pretty professional, so I doubt it. But have you ever had any like interviews that just went awry, where it was like, yeah, we'll sit down and talk, and then halfway through you're like, he doesn't want to be here, and just isn't going well?
I can say like too many to count. And as and as a reporter, you just have to push them out of your
yeah.
Because there are so many times usually the one-on-ones I do, the ones I've set up, like I've had very, very few of those go poorly, but I've had a ton of like you walk up to the guy in the locker room after a practice and you ask him a couple questions and it's clear that his head's just not there and he's not invested. And after a couple questions, you just kind of have to be like, all right, see you, man.
So like Jake Voracek doesn't think you're a rat or anything. That's never happened to you.
No, I've never had one of those. Thankfully.
We love Sealski here, but it's just kind of funny that it happened. You know, best member of the organization to talk to in your time, because you mentioned like on the show with Jason, like you've been doing this well over 10 years. You know, this is our 10th season together coming up.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That is crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah. Best member of the organization to talk to. Good question. I really loved covering Scott Laughton. He's just a genuinely good dude. But there were others. I mean, Jake Voracek was a blast to cover. So much fun. You know, when I ran into him at the because he went to the Stadium Series game at MetLife, and he was down there in the locker room saying hi to the guys. He still has a ton of friends on the team. Fewer now, but still has friends on the team. And he hadn't seen me in person since before the pandemic, because that year that he was on the team before he got traded, that was all Zoom calls. So he didn't see what I look like. And I'd like changed my entire hairstyle. I used to have a beard. I shaved it off. And he like walks over and he looks, he's like, "Charlie, is that you? You look so different."
I now see the pictures, like they pop up all the time, of Beard Charlie. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right.
I did have a beard.
And it's like,
that was the thing.
It's weird now. And I'm like, oh, that was like how I knew Charlie.
But he was freaked out. He's like, "Man, you got a glow up, man. Well done." Like, started styling your hair.
All right. And with that, we got to throw it to overtime. Go to allphly.com to keep watching the show if you're part of the TV audience. Got to do it for Kelly.
Love it.
One more thing, then we'll get to super chats and get out of here, Charlie. New players' numbers got announced today. We learned about like I think it's 46 for Zegras. We learned about that a few weeks ago. But Dvorak's going to wear 22. Okay. Juleson and Gilbert, whatever, 47, 48. Dan Vladar Number 80.
The first 80 in Flyers
The
history.
very first number 80. And this is, I actually have a take about players' numbers. We need our cool players to wear cooler numbers.
Okay.
We have Mishkov and Zegras wearing 39 and 46. I liked 39 initially because it was like, all right, you know what? I don't associate it with anybody else.
Yeah.
So you can make it your own.
Yours.
But now we just have two kind of flat looking numbers on our two like coolest players. Meanwhile, we've got two goalies in the 80s. Bjarnason is listed as number 64. These are not typical goalie numbers. Let's get going here. And I said before the show, I want the Flyers to say F you to the rest of the league and slap 99 on somebody.
Would be incredible.
That would just be, no, we're not following your rules. He never played for us. That would be very funny.
Be funny.
That's it. All right, let's hit the super chats. I think
time.
we have a few today.
Yeah, we got a few.
Let's see how it goes. All right, first one from David Shub says, feel like Martinez has so much fun with y'all. Love it.
He's a great guy.
It's hard not to have a good time with Martinez.
Great dude.
From Gary B says, happy Friday, everyone. Just cause super chat.
Thank you, Gary B.
We always appreciate when Gary B can drop in for a little super chat. And Lyndon49. Haven't heard from Lyndon in a little while. Glad you're back, Charlie. Have fun, Bill. Go Flyers.
Thanks, Lyndon.
Yeah, welcome back. That's why we haven't heard from Lyndon in a while. Charlie's back, so now he's here. That's all right. And that's it. That is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers today. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on YouTube. Set that reminder bell whenever we go live. Just a reminder, Tuesday, September 2nd, we're going to 4 p.m. So tune in there where we'll be bringing you the show from the Xfinity studio. Follow us on all the socials. We're at PHLY_Flyers on Twitter. And follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. That is it. I'm Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. Till next week, be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.